The control room on Station Epsilon 9 was quiet. The stars outside the large viewing window shimmered like tiny diamonds in black water. Officer Larn sat at his post, sipping bitter root tea, eyes half open. Nothing exciting ever happened this. Far from the core worlds. That changed in one blink. A sudden blip appeared on his radar screen. It was quick, just a flicker. Larn frowned. He tapped the side of the console and leaned in. The screen cleared, but the signal was gone. Another sensor error. He muttered dot, but less than a minute later, it happened again. Blip, 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 this. Time the blip was brighter and closer. System, he ordered. Identify object. The AI's voice answered calmly. Unknown vessel. No matching signature in Galactic registry. Larn sat up straight now. His two hearts beat faster. N. Unknown vessel? That was not supposed to happen. Everything in the galaxy followed rules. Ships registered. Ships had transponders. Ships didn't just appear. He opened a channel to the central database. Control to archive net. Cross-check this pattern, he said, sending the radar image. The screen went dark for a few seconds. Then a red warning blinked. Access denied. Level 10 clearance required. Larn blinked. Level 10? But I'm level 6. Suddenly, the door behind him opened with a loud hiss. Commander Valak entered, looking alert and angry. You triggered an old alert, Larn. Why? I didn't mean to. A ship appeared. It's unmarked. The system wouldn't identify it. Valak stared at the screen. His eyes narrowed. Slowly, he sat beside Larn and whispered, Repeat the scan. Larn ran the scan again. This time the signal was even stronger. A triangle-shaped vessel, old design. No shields active. No response to hails. Valak leaned closer to the monitor. No way. This can't be, he whispered. What is it, sir? Larn asked. Valak hesitated. Then he sighed. There's a story. Older than any of us. A story about a species that once shook the galaxy. Fierce, fast, brilliant, dangerous. Who? Humans. Larn almost laughed. You mean the myth? The bedtime stories? Valak didn't smile. They weren't stories. A long time ago, humans vanished. Some say they destroyed themselves. Others say they left the galaxy. But the truth was buried. Erased. He tapped the old red file that Larn had accidentally triggered. This ship. It matches a Terran-class design. Model Valkyrie. Last seen 500 years ago. But how? Why now? Larn asked, his voice small. Valak stood and walked to the window. The unknown. Ship was now visible in the distance. It glowed with faint blue lights, slow-moving, like it wasn't in a rush. They're back, Valak said softly. But why return now? Larn asked again. Valak didn't answer. Instead, he opened a secret console, something even Larn had never seen. It glowed with red runes and passwords, old codes. Ancient security. Send a silent report to Central Command, Valak said. What do I tell them? Tell them the myth is real. Tell them a human ship just entered Sector 14. Outside, the stars shifted. The ship grew closer. A message came through, one line of text only. This is Captain Elias of Earth Vessel Revival. Is anyone still out there? Larn's hands trembled. Humans were real. And they were calling again. Asterisk, the message from the human. Ship repeated in the command room of Station Epsilon 9. This is Captain Elias of Earth Vessel Revival. Is anyone still out there? Silence followed. Commander Valak stared at the screen, frozen. Officer Larn, still shaken, whispered, Should we respond? Valak shook his head. Not yet. Not until we understand what we're dealing with. He? left the control room, and entered the restricted wing of the station. Few ever walked that hallway. The door at the end was locked with voice, eye, and gene scan. Valak passed all three. The door opened with a heavy thud. Inside was an old archive. Chamber. Dust hung in the air. Blue data cubes floated in glass stasis. He walked straight to the center, where a black cube pulsed softly. It was labeled Terra, classified, do not open without council order. Valak hesitated, then removed his rank pin and inserted it into the lock. The cube awakened. A voice, mechanical and cold, echoed, accessing Forbidden's file. Humanity deleted species record. A hologram appeared. It showed tall, upright creatures with 2 legs and sharp eyes. They stood with weapons, marched in storms, flew through space, and built machines that could shatter moons. Species, human. Origin, planet Earth, Sol system. Strength level, extreme. Adaptability, max. Emotional intelligence, unpredictable. Threat rating, terminated by treaty. Valak's eyes widened. Another file loaded. It showed records of past wars. 1 human battleship held off 12 alien fleets. 1 human soldier survived radiation, fire, and freezing cold just to carry a wounded alien child to safety. Another human negotiated peace between empires with nothing but words and threats. Then came the line that made Valak feel cold. Last human contact, 512 years ago. Disappearance unexplained. Records buried by council order. He sat down, trying to process it all. Why would the council hide this? He asked himself. Behind him, a soft voice spoke, because they were afraid. Valak turned around quickly. It was Archivist Mira, the quiet old historian, who rarely left her reading chamber. You've seen this before? He asked. She nodded. I was a child when I first saw that file. My mentor showed it to me in secret. He said humans weren't destroyed. They vanished by choice. By choice? Mira sat beside him. They were tired. After fighting for so long, being hunted, hated, misunderstood, they just left. Some think they built a ship and entered deep space, beyond known systems. Valak remembered the message. This is Captain Elias of Earth Vessel Revival. Then this ship, this revival, could be their return. Mira looked serious. Or their warning. Back in the command room, Officer Larn watched the human ship drifting silently. In orbit. It hadn't moved closer. It didn't fire weapons. But its presence alone had the whole crew on edge. A private call buzzed through. It was from Central Command. Commander Valak, the voice said, sharp and worried. You are ordered to hold. Position. Do not engage. Do not reply. Reinforcements are en route. Valak returned to the room just in time to hear it. Larn looked confused. Sir, shouldn't we at least say something back? Valak frowned. No, not yet. If humans left this galaxy by choice, maybe they didn't come to talk. Maybe they came to judge. The screen blinked again. A second message appeared. You didn't answer. Are we alone? Larn turned to Valak. Sir, what do we do? Valak stared at the screen. For the first time in 5 centuries, a human voice had returned to the galaxy. But what did it want? Asterisk, the alien shipyard orbiting Yelver Prime, was buzzing with whispers. The humans were real, and one of their ships was here. But no one dared to speak officially. No one sent a message. No government confirmed anything. They were all watching, waiting, and hoping the ship would vanish like a ghost. Commander Valak paced the deck of station. Epsilon -9. The message from the Terran vessel still glowed on the screen. You didn't answer. Are we alone? The crew remained silent. Officer Larn finally broke the silence. Sir, it's been hours. Shouldn't we say something? At least let them know they aren't being ignored? Valak shook his head. We've been ordered to remain quiet. The council doesn't want direct contact. But why? Valak looked out the window at the distant ship, dark gray, shaped like a blade, quiet as death, because they're afraid of waking something old, he said softly. On the human vessel Revival, Captain Elias sat alone in the central command seat. His eyes scanned the alien stars on the screen. They had changed so many new stations, strange technology, new species, but no one answered. His crew, just 7 humans awakened from cryosleep, watched silently. The rest of the 1,000 remained, frozen in pods. They're out there, said Officer Mila, standing behind him. They saw our signal. Elias nodded. I know. I can feel it, but something's wrong. He opened a secure transmission channel. A short-range message, audio only. This is Captain Elias of Earth's Revival. We were part of the Exodus Fleet. Year of departure, 4883. Earth Command. Order 9. Operation Ghost Seed. We request landing rights. No reply will be taken as threat. Protocol. Mila blinked. Threat protocol? He looked at her. We weren't just explorers. We were the backup. If Earth ever fell, if diplomacy failed, we were Plan B. Outside, the ship adjusted slightly, its engines flaring just enough to alarm. Nearby stations dot back on Epsilon 9. Emergency lights flashed red. The human vessel just moved, Lauren reported. Only by a few degrees, but it's aiming toward the proxy vault. Valak cursed under his breath. The proxy vault held ancient tech, including Forbidden's weapons, some of which were Terran-made. If the humans were heading there, they knew exactly what they were doing. We're going to lose. Control, Valak said. Open silent broadcast. No response necessary. Lauren hesitated, then obeyed. Valak leaned close to the mic. His voice was low, careful. This is Commander Valak of Station Epsilon 9. You are in controlled airspace. Please identify purpose of arrival. We are not hostile, but we are not ready. There was no reply for a full 2 minutes. Then finally, we came home. The message was followed by silence. Valak sat down heavily. They still believe this galaxy is their home. Lauren whispered, what if it is? The central command on the alien homeworld received all this in real time. Leaders from 12 species sat around the glowing council circle. Screens played the human ship's movement in the background. A tall insectoid ambassador clicked nervously. If they are real, and if they remember what we did, they may not come in peace. A lizard-like admiral hissed. Then why haven't they fired? The youngest of them all, a bird-like creature with golden feathers, looked up. Maybe they're waiting for us to make the first mistake. The council grew silent. Then came a final alert. One of the human cryopods just opened. Another human has awakened. A scientist. A name that matched ancient war files. Dr. Kale Arin. The name triggered alarms. He had been Earth's top bioweapons expert. 500 years ago, the name Dr. Kale Arin echoed through the council. Hall like thunder. Every senior species representative turned pale if their skin allowed it. The files on him were ancient, hidden deep in war archives. Most young officers had never even heard the name, but the ones who had knew what it meant. He was a ghost from Earth's darkest science division. He was supposed to be dead, whispered the insectoid ambassador, the council's leader, a crystal-bodied being named. Vyorn spoke slowly. No. He was supposed to sleep. Forever. That ship, Revival, was their insurance. Back aboard Revival, Kale Arin took his first breath in 5 centuries. The cryofog still clung to his skin as medbots removed the needles and sensors from his body. Captain Elias stood in front of him, calm but watchful. Kale opened his eyes. sharp, cold, calculating. How long? He asked. 500 years. We're in a changed galaxy. Kale blinked slowly. And Earth? Gone silent. We don't know what happened after we left. You're one of 7 awake. The rest are still in cryo. Kale sat up, stretching. Stiff muscles. And the locals? They see us. But they won't talk. A faint smirk touched Kale's lips. Then I'll make them listen. On Station Epsilon 9, alarms began to chime again. Officer Larn stared at the screen in disbelief. Commander, the human ship just activated a deep wave signal. Valak leaned in. Encrypted? Yes, but not for us. It's broadcasting. On ancient diplomatic channels. Ones we don't use anymore. Valak's face darkened. That's not just a message. That's an invitation. The transmission spread across the galaxy in less than 3 minutes. And in that message was a voice, smooth, calm, but heavy, like it carried storms in its words. To the beings of the Galactic Council, this is Dr. Kale Arin, formerly of Earth's Defense Science Command. You buried us in lies. You erased our name. You feared our strength. We did not forget, and we did not die. A pause. We came to see what became of the cowards who watched while Earth burned. Chaos followed. Dozens of planets triggered emergency protocols. Warships were moved. Hidden weapons activated. Broadcasts were jammed. But it was too late. The entire galaxy had just heard the voice of a human who should have been dust in a grave. Commander Valak tried to reach the Council. They need to hear this. He's not attacking. Not yet. Maybe there's still a chance. But Central Command cut him off. Commander, stand down. Reinforcements are inbound. If the human vessel moves toward any core world, you are to target its engines and destroy it. Valak clenched his fists. That's madness. You think they wouldn't have a backup plan? No one listened. Meanwhile, in the dark heart of revival, Kale stared at a glowing sphere, his personal Lab A, all long dormant, but now active again. Status of Project Echo? He asked. The AI replied softly. Dormant. Weapons sealed. Protocols intact. Earth's silence remains unexplained. Kale's eyes narrowed. Something's wrong. We were only supposed to return if Earth recalled us. But we woke up alone. Captain Elias stepped in. You think someone triggered us early? Kale nodded. Or someone wanted us to wake before Earth could call. Elias frowned. You think we were betrayed? Kale looked out the viewport toward the stars. I think we're walking into someone else's lie. Back on Epsilon 9, Officer Larn received a private signal, unmarked, clean, and simple. Just one line of code. He decrypted it with shaky fingers. It said, I remember you, Larn. You were kind. Stay alive. K.A. Larn's face turned white. He had never met a human. Never seen one. Never even believed they were real. But someone somehow knew his name. Station Epsilon 9 was no longer calm. Inside the war room, Commander Valak stared at the data pouring in. The ship hovering in Sector 14 Revival was doing nothing aggressive. Its weapons were cold. Its shield stayed passive. And yet, Valak felt like they were already at war. Sir, Larn said quietly, our scanners can't penetrate the hull. It's layered with old Terran alloys, some of them we've never seen before. Valak nodded grimly. That's because those metals came from dying stars. Humans had mining tech that made even neutron harvesting look simple. Larn leaned closer to his screen. There's something else. I've identified 1,042 cryopods on board. Valak froze. Over 1,000? Larn whispered, and one of them has just been manually opened from inside. Aboard Revival, a young woman slowly sat up in her cryochamber. Her eyes were bright green, her hair thick and black, braided into coils. Her body shook as the last of the freezing agents left her bloodstream. Dr. Cale Arn stood over her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Welcome back, Lieutenant Rhea." She blinked. "Where are we?" Cale smiled faintly. "Nowhere safe." Rhea looked around the ship. "Did the signal come from Earth?" Cale's smile faded. "No, that's why we're all awake now." She sat up fully, mind racing. Then, what triggered the revival? "That," he said, turning to the dark wall screen, "is what I'm trying to find out." Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, Council intelligence forces activated one of their last remaining Terran relics, the Ghost Archive. Hidden for centuries, the archive was filled with captured human technology and weapon blueprints. Few dared open it, but now they had no choice. As the chamber unlocked, holograms appeared. Human ships sleek, deadly, efficient. Human soldiers fast, clever, terrifying. One file in particular caught their attention. Ship class, Titan series. Revival prototype. Status, destroyed. Year, 4890. The Council agent reading the file narrowed his eyes. Impossible. If Revival was destroyed, then what is hovering in Sector 14? He looked at the scan again. It matched the data exactly. Same shape, same power core, same energy readings. The ship in orbit wasn't just similar to a Terran design. It was the lost prototype. How can a dead ship fly? Someone asked. The reply came softly. Unless it was never dead. Commander Valek stood in front of his crew, now holding a serious choice in his hands. "We've confirmed it. The ship out there is the Revival. It was supposed to be lost during the Exodus War. Why would it return now?" Larn asked. Valek looked down. "To remind us that forgetting the past doesn't mean it forgets us." Larn was silent a moment, then said, "Commander, they haven't attacked. They could have, but they didn't." Valek nodded. "Which means they're watching, judging, waiting to see if we panic." "Should we panic?" "Not yet," Valek replied. "But we must prepare, in case the truth is worse than our fear." Back aboard Revival, Rhea walked through the halls slowly, touching the steel with her hand. The ship felt different, now heavier. More aware. She entered the bridge, where Captain Elias and Cale stood, watching nearby systems. "We were ghosts," Rhea said quietly. "Meant to return only if the galaxy truly lost its way." Elias looked at her. "And what do you see out there?" She looked out at the stations. "The alien fleets gathering. The signals bouncing. I see fear," she said. "And I see silence." "Silence always hides lies." Cale leaned against the rail. "Then maybe it's time we speak again." Elias nodded. "Broadcast one more message." A new signal left the human ship. Short, calm, powerful. "This is Captain Elias of Earth Vessel. Revival. We carry survivors, memories, and proof. We are not here for war, but we are not afraid of it. We will speak once more before returning to silence. You have one day." Across the stars, the message repeated on all channels. Every species listened. Some prepared fleets, some prayed, and some remembered. Because the ship that shouldn't exist was very real. And humanity was waking up. Asterisk. The message from Revival had spread across the stars like a spark in dry grass. You have one day. The galaxy heard it. Every station, every government, every powerful leader. And in that silence that followed, something strange began to happen. People started asking questions. Questions that hadn't been asked in centuries. On the planet Xeon Prime, a young university student named Arlo dug into his school's restricted history archives. He used a stolen access key taken from his professor's drawer. He typed, "Humanity, real or myth?" A warning flashed. This record is sealed by Council Order 7. Punishment for access. Memory wipe. But Arlo continued. The screen flickered. And suddenly, images filled his screen. Not drawings. Not fake videos. Real footage. Human ships flying in formation. Human soldiers standing in peace talks. Human scientists giving medicine to alien children. Then, war footage. Entire fleets. Burned by human weapons. One soldier holding a broken shield and standing in the fire. Arlo sat back, shaken. They were real, and we erased them. Back on Station Epsilon 9, Commander Valak had made a choice. He opened the station's sealed archive room again. This time, he wasn't alone. Officer Larn followed him, nervous. Sir, are you sure we're allowed to do this? No, Valak replied. But history doesn't ask for permission. He activated the oldest vault. Inside was a dusty black container with a warning on it, do not open. Council Directive 9, Earth Treaty, permanent silence. Valak placed his palm on the scanner. A loud hiss followed. Inside the container was a file no one had touched in over 500 years. Video. The final message sent by Earth's last official ambassador. The screen crackled and a woman's face appeared. Pale skin, worn eyes. She looked tired, but proud. To the Council and to those who believe they are safe, she began. You made a choice to forget us. You feared us, hated us, used us, and then turned your back. But we are not. You're monsters. We are the mirror you tried to break. And we will not be forgotten. So we leave, not to escape, but to prepare. One day we will return not for war, but for truth. And if you still hide, we will shine a light so bright, your lies will melt in it. The video ended. Larn whispered, she knew. She knew they would lie about Earth. Valak nodded. That's why they buried it. On revival, Captain Elias sat with Kale and Rhea in the command room. The ship was quiet, running low power, but listening. They're watching us, Rhea said. Kale checked his readings. Multiple species scanning us, but still no reply. Not a single one dares speak, Elias smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time we stop waiting for them. He stood and walked to the main console. Run Project Beacon. Kale raised a brow. You sure? It will expose the lie to everyone. That's the point, Elias replied. The ship's core hummed. A pulse of light shot into the stars. Across hundreds of systems, screens lit up. It wasn't a message. It was a truth burst. A memory file encoded deep into the Terran genome. One that couldn't be erased. Footage appeared of the day Earth was. Betrayed. Alien leaders shaking human hands, then bombing Earth colonies the next day. Footage of humans protecting planets that now denied their existence. And the final scene, Earth's skies burning. Not from war, but from a weapon designed by the Council. Panic erupted. Citizens across species demanded answers. Riots broke out on core worlds. Council members tried to contain the truth, but it was too late. The lie had been unsealed. In the darkest chamber of the Council fortress, one of the oldest leaders, blind, scarred, and silent, finally spoke after decades. They were right, he said. An aide leaned in. Who, sir? He opened his eyes slowly. The humans. The galaxy held its breath. For centuries, the name Earth had been whispered like a ghost story, a myth told to children, a warning of power lost. Now Earth was back. Hundreds of ships slipped through the dark space lanes, their silhouettes sharp against distant stars. The revival was no longer alone. Captain Elias stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Titan's edge. His eyes scanned the vast fleet. Young soldiers prepared their weapons. Scientists checked their gear. The weight of history sat heavy on their shoulders. Today, Elias said, voice steady, We show the galaxy that humans never died. We were always watching, waiting, preparing, across. The council chambers, alarms screamed. Leaders scrambled to issue orders. Intercept, stop them. Cried the insectoid ambassador. We cannot, said the golden-feathered bird leader calmly. Their fleet uses forgotten paths. They know. Our blind spots. One by one, systems fell silent as Earth's fleet moved like a shadow storm. On Station Epsilon 9, Commander Valak and Officer Larn watched the approaching ships with a mix of fear and awe. They're not attacking, Larn said quietly. They just want to be seen. Valak nodded. And make us remember. A signal burst through all communication channels. It was Captain Elias. To the beings of the galaxy, Elias announced, voice echoing in every corner, we come not to conquer, but to reclaim our place. We will judge the lies, the betrayals, and the forgotten. Earth remembers. Earth watches. Those who seek peace, we offer friendship. Those who choose war, we will end swiftly. The council's oldest leader, scarred and weary, stepped forward. We have made mistakes, he admitted, but the galaxy is vast. There is still time. But the humans were not here to negotiate. They were here to remind. The humans deployed small teams to ancient battlefields. They uncovered forgotten weapons, reactivated lost technology, and reunited with old allies. In every system. They left. A message. We remember. You should too. The alien fleets slowly lowered their weapons. The galaxy was no longer sure who the real predators were. On the bridge of the Titan's edge, Captain Elias looked at the stars. The galaxy forgot who. We are, he said softly, but we never forgot them. End of story, *.